Hello YouTube, it is Bowtied Media, and today I've got an EP review for the new Lemaitre JGM. So, Lemaitre is a duo based out of Oslo, Norway, and I would consider their genre of music to be kind of indie-tronica. In terms of the electronic side, they would be a lot more indie and a lot more acoustic singer-songwriter type style when they were to produce music. If they were more indie, you definitely have a lot of electronic influences, so I'd say they're in the middle of an indie-tronic or indie-tronica. This is Lemaitre's first project since they split with Capitol Records, and they've produced this new EP, JGM, on their own Substellar Records. While Lemaitre is known for creating some upbeat, fun, groovy, kind of energetic, electronic indie music, this EP is a little different in the fact that it's a lot more personal and a lot more heavy-hearted with the 4 tracks they produced. And that is because the title of the EP, JGM, is actually the initials for a friend of theirs that had recently passed away, Johannes Grave Muscat. He has proclaimed himself, and Lemaitre also said that he's the official third member of the group. I can't really say duo, third member of the group. Having Johannes also be the cover art for the EP that you see right there, they've created this as sort of a tribute to their friend and worker for a long time. Johannes actually first worked with them early back when they created their first song to do a lot of their visuals and videos, music videos, for a lot of their projects. Then they had been friends ever since. So to say that this EP is special for Lemaitre is kind of an understatement. There's a lot of emotion and backstory and kind of just a narrative that had gone into these just 4 tracks, where you think of this often with a lot of albums where they're really long and drawn out and they have a lot of inspiration from something else. Lemaitre actually puts all of this into just 4 tracks, 12 minutes. Narratively, the EP works a lot with the idea of coming down and going up. A lot of the, obviously, allegory and metaphors for heaven, of coming back down to earth and or coming down to kind of yourself emotionally and going up to heaven and feeling like kind of almost a high or even a low of going back down. And so this is very, very prevalent on the first track. Wondering If I'll Ever Come Down starts really heavy-handed. The lyrics right away state, I might call it quits, but then these ashes are all I've got. Obviously, we're going right into it. The heart and the deepened soul of kind of what Lemaitre's feeling. They're not skipping around any bushes here. We're talking immediately about their great friend JGM. The chorus of the track is pretty powerful, saying, I'm gonna live no matter what, wondering if I'll ever come down. And while, obviously, I do not know JGM or Johannes very well, but you can kind of get a sense for what the kind of personality and character of this man was due to the lyrics like this. You can kind of tell he was someone that put a lot of fun into the world, that was really energetic and upbeat, and that he kind of lived the days as they came and tried to have fun the entire time. This is further cemented by the lyrics in the same song, I ain't gonna live forever, but I'm gonna live no matter what. Kind of stating that, just like their friends, life is kind of precious, and life doesn't last all that long in the grand scheme of things. And while we're here, we might as well want to live it as we can and live it to the fullest. This first track serves as kind of a mantra for both Lemaitre and all of us, kind of to live a life like, I guess, Johannes did, in the idea that we're not going to live forever, but we need to live our life to the fullest, and that we need to take every day as it comes and be with those we love and just stay in the precious moments as they happen. The second track off the EP, Eyes Wide Open, tackles the idea that Lemaitre might feel some conscious, and they might feel like there's some burden on their hearts with the death of Johannes. The lyrics suggest that even though your life might be sobering up, you may still not have a lot of luck, and you still might not be able to get in the places you want to, even if you're trying your best and you're working at bettering yourself and bettering, I guess, those around you in your situation. How even after you do all of that, life sometimes can just kick you right in the butt, and it's not going to go the way you want it to. I listen to the song, and the way I see it is that Johannes is kind of almost crying for help in some extent, and Lemaitre is not listening. The idea that their eyes are wide open, but they can't see that they're blind still is very saddening, and it's almost like depressing, which is so interesting because it's paired with these nice, like fun, upbeat instruments, and you think that it's just this weird almost dichotomy, but I think it works because from what we've seen from the lyrics and what we've seen or what I've read online is that Johannes was this bright, humble man who just loved life. And we see that with kind of the mix of the almost sad, depressing lyrics and the high energy of the song. I think partly why I believe that Lemaitre feels some sort of regret or some remorse or some responsibility for the death of Johannes comes particularly from the lyrics that say, Then you show me a sign, but I miss it. I'm blind, even with my eyes wide open. The idea that he's calling out for help and he's wishing that they would be there for him in a different way than they are. But even though they're open, their eyes are open and they're engaged, they're really blind to what's actually really happening. I think the song also serves as a great reminder for everyone that even though people may look bright and great and fruity and sunshine, I guess, on the outside, they may be really struggling inside. And so even though we may be with them all the time, that we don't really know what's happening exactly in their personal lives and we don't know what they're feeling. So to be ready to engage with people and ask questions and ask really how you're going or how you're doing. And I think Lemaitre is really calling for that kind of action with the song. Again, I think the somber tone of the song mixed with the upbeat instrumentals serves as a great juxtaposition for what the songs actually are and what it's really about and the character of Johannes. I think it's also interesting to look at EDM as a whole, where a lot of lyrics kind of say this or feel this certain way, and you want to express this emotion, but with this upbeat, bump-in, like fast-paced music, and sometimes people just miss it. And so I think this song, I mean, if you're not listening for it, sometimes you may totally miss it. You may totally miss what the song is going for, both thematically and narratively. But even if you were to miss the first two, there's no way you're missing the elements and narrative elements of Joe. The song Joe, obviously off of Johannes. The idea that this is kind of the heart and soul of the project, and the entire EP lands on this one singular track. I think this track would be Lemaitre really coming to terms with what has happened and that the death of Johannes, their good friend, and I think that's very evident with what the lyrics are saying. I think the line that hits the hardest in this song says, "In pitch black dreams and happy nightmares, you appear, though you're not really there." Kind of, again, looking back with what Eyes Wide Open said, where it kind of feels like there's some burden on them, where they feel like they need to apologize or say something more and take some responsibility for what happened. And obviously, we don't really know what happened. We can only assume with this EP and everything, lyrically and narratively. While the 3 of the 4 tracks in this EP are a lot more upbeat and kind of the more Lemaitre classic style, this one you can definitely feel the sorrow and the somberness of what they're actually trying to convey and the narrative elements of this project. The song ends with the voice recording snippet from Johannes, where he's having an interview with someone, I guess, and talking about how he first started to work with Lemaitre and kind of how he feels like this unofficial, official third member of the band. And even in that, you can just hear how much joy he has and the kind of love that the 3 of them all working together have for each other. I think Joe is the perfect tribute song for a really, really good tribute EP as a whole. But I sort of wish it would have just ended with these 3 tracks. Stop Me Fast doesn't really feel like it matches thematically or narratively with the rest of the EP in terms of it being a tribute album to JGM. As a standalone song, I really enjoy it. It's really funky, it's really upbeat, the bass line absolutely goes nuts on the song, but how it ties into JGM, I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not sure if I'm really even supposed to know. All in all, I thought this was a wonderful project from Lemaitre. They really showed their chops and how they can produce some more somber and really gut-wrenching music on top of their also really fun and upbeat and energetic tracks. I think Lemaitre hit it out of the park with this EP, and I think JGM would be really happy to see a project like this in kind of his name and an honorary tribute to who he is. In terms of a score, I would give this album an 8. But thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Bowtied Media. If you want to see something else, check out the links that are at the end of this video. Please, if you have any suggestions for projects or EPs or albums or singles or anything I should look up or review, let me know in the comment section below. I will see you guys in another video.